I'm waiting for kids to be quiet. If I'm basing the premise of my podcast on kids being quiet when I record, God damn it, because they can't hear me, but I can hear them loud and proud. And God damn, they're loud and proud. Fuck. And if I had to base, like I say, my podcast on starting when my kids are quiet, I never fucking start. And Rob just is like, oh, it's going to be a long night. Fuck. The mother of all podcasts. Woo! The mother of all episodes at 118. I've done a mother of all episodes. It's been Mother's Day before on the podcast. I've only been doing this for like 5,000 years. I'm just kidding. Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Oh my God. I did some mother and some stories today. Because I mean, like, there's that. I mean, there's Spice Girls. There's I Am Your Mother, Meghan Trainor. I'm trying to do like more like metal mom stuff, like Mama, I'm Coming Home and stuff like that. But this week, in the last couple weeks, like, holy tap dancing shit, fucking Jiminy Christmas, it has been a few weeks and I've been one busy bitch. I'm not gonna lie. It's been fucking crazy, but here we are, and all that you see in front of you has been how busy I've been in a few weeks. So that's why you get this. But Mother's Day weekend is here. It's around here. I'm gonna kick off my shoes. Woo, yay. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 42. Oh my God. Seriously. I'm pretty sure after listening to the Tortured Poets Department front to back that Taylor Swift definitely takes a little weed. Maybe she takes a little weed. I took a little weed. I've been treated like a queen for Mother's Day. Treated my own mother, the queen mother, like a queen herself. And yeah, it's been a good Mother's Day. Spoiled by all. It's been a nice, kind of like calm day. But like, yeah, like the whole G. Everything was fucking top tier. Everything was top tier. What can I say? So, like I say, welcome to your suburban nightmare and mine. 21st Century Rocker Mom podcast with me, your host, Tanya Candler. And what I got, I got the Classy Bitch Award for the classiest bitch in the suburbs, because you know what? It's not wine o'clock for me. We are talking wine o'clock moms today, and other moms, and other modalities of parents and things like that. I got Kool-Aid and wine glass as usual. Cheers to you. Raise your glass. Shake ass. Oh yeah, let's start a cult. Just kidding. It's not a funny meme today. But like I say, I'm your favorite shit disturber. I'm the favorite, stir of the pot. I can't pretend that it hasn't been the craziest few weeks of my fucking life. I cannot mask that enough. Because I'm just going to come out and be like, yeah, it's been nuts. I was fucking busy, good busy, but just slammed between regular work doing medical work and stuff like that, and doing diabetes care work, and doing work at the grooming company, and then doing voiceover work, and then doing music work, and organizing a few other things that I've got going under my belt. It has been crazy. And then getting ready for every market that I've been doing. I've been doing more markets and stuff with the grooming company. So like I say, I've just been slammed. And how do I cope? How do I cope with all that stuff? Well, I do that by talking to you fine folks. My friends, my fine guys, gals, and non-binary pals. I talk to you every, couple of weeks. That's one way I get it out. That's one way of looking at things through the lens. And I like to look at things hard, going down through the rabbit hole. That kind of keeps my mind off all the other busy shit that I have to do. When I finally get done what I have to do and I'm finished and I can kind of sit down, I never really truly sit down and calm down. But when I'm a little bit, doing a little bit less, I will say that, I like to go down the rabbit hole. That's my thing. I couldn't stop, I think, even if I could control myself with my ADHD and my autism, and the cues that I miss socially, even trying to stop, I don't think I could stop even if I could control myself. So even if I wanted to stop, I just don't think I could stop. And I can't control my truth, and I can't control my mouth. I would, but it's not worth it because like my age and also ADHD and autism. So you're welcome. So first off, work-wise, it's been market season. So to market, this fat pig has been going jiggity jig. I've been going like crazy. And so as you know, I double and I kind of triple dip when it comes to working, as I am an independent contractor and I'm also an artist. So being a musician and a company owner and, voiceover artist and kind of just being a Renaissance person, I really work a lot. So I work, 18, hour days sometimes, a lot of the times, 8 days a week, like as the Beatles would say. It's been a hard day's fucking night, but like, it's good to be a Renaissance person and do a little bit. So I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. I don't like that. That's not fucking punk rock. That's not metal. That's not cool. So I put a little bit of me everywhere out in the universe, and why not? Why not? I've been burning the midnight oil, though. I've been doing the candle at both ends. The candler has been burning the candles and making the candles at both ends like crazy. I've been doing like a million field trips with the kids at school and like, the mom on overdrive thing because like it's almost the end of the year. And, the teachers need a little bit of extra help because, the schools aren't, as well as the school is funded in like the kind of hood that I live in, which is a very predominantly well-off neighborhood. I'd say upper middle class neighborhood. Like, people here make good money and they have good upbringings for their kids. Their kids generally come to school with lunches. Things are okay. They're living above the poverty line. Things of that nature. You know what I mean? They're not struggling super hard. I don't see anyone struggling super hard. But like, as well as people are doing, the government doesn't fund schools, just like they don't fund healthcare. So teachers always, need a hand in classes because they don't get a lot of volunteers to come along with field trips or help out with class projects or, donate things to the classroom because a lot of things teachers are doing, and people don't realize this. A lot of times, most times, 99% of times, what your teachers are doing with your kids, like above and beyond what's in their class and what's being handed down and barfed down from government legislation, is all coming out of their own fucking pockets. Like they're paying for it themselves. I know like a teacher in my kids' school is doing like a published book for their whole class, and like the teacher's paying for it. Not the school, the teacher out of their own money that they make out of teaching your kids. So it's like, because they want their class to have a nice like parting gift at the end of the year. And like, how nice is that? So that's cool. Like, so stop shitting on our teachers. I'm done with it. It's crazy. So I've been doing all the mom things. So that's why the whole like show came about with like the mom things and talking about moms and modalities of moms and Mother's Day. Cause it was all kind of all coming to a head at once. And lots of stuff has happened like surrounding motherhood and parenthood and living in the hood, adulthood. I keep trying to get out of the hood, but I can't. Are you familiar with the let them theory? It's an ideology. It's a school of thought. I don't know if you're familiar with it. I'm going to let you know about it. Being in constant social situations where I'm the kind of, alternative goth punk, goth mom leaving the mall. You know what I mean? Like I'm that weird mom, and I kind of brought that on. That's what brought this show on like itself, because I'm a little bit more alt than a lot of the moms. I mean, when you find out, when you start talking to a lot of the moms, especially like school moms and stuff like that, like when I go to pick up my kids and stuff like that, I've made some friends. But I've also like made people that I don't want to be friends with because they're just not for me. It's just, and that's cool. And I might not be for them. But you know what I mean? I see the stares and I hear the whispers, and sometimes I'm the kind of person where I'll get up from a table and I'll leave a situation and people are still talking about me after. And I don't think it's in a positive way. Sometimes I miss out on those social cues because I am so autistic and I have so much ADHD going on in the brain, and it's so neuro-spicy up there that I just totally miss that I'm being annoying, and it just goes out the window. So what do you do with all the judgy negativity and like all the looks and all the up and downs and stuff? What do you do with that? You let them. They want to stare, you let them. I'm going to let you know about I'm going to let you, like I say, know about the let them philosophy and the ideology of the idea of let them. I'm going to read it to you because it's too long to memorize. Because let them is something that I will tell you that the more I get older and the more that I learn and the more I grow, I'm okay with the let them theory in my own life and social situations and relationships. It's something that took a really long time to kind of figure out and kind of get settled with. I used to tolerate a lot because I didn't want to lose people in my life. I don't like losing people in my life. It's hard to lose people in your life. I'm not good at loss. But I learned the hard way that if people are really your people, and if they're really my people, they're not going to treat me like shit, and they're not going to talk about me when I leave a social situation, and they're not going to look me up and down. They're not going to judge me. Don't make the mistake of being so understanding and forgiving that you overlook the fact that you're being repeatedly disrespected over and over again. Let them be upset. Let them judge you. Let them misunderstand you. Let them gossip about you. Let them stare. Let them ignore you. Let them be, right. Let them be right. Let them have their point. You know what I mean? Opinions are like assholes. Let them doubt you. Let them not like you. Let them hate you if they want to. Let them not speak to you. Let them run your name into the ground. Let them treat you like the villain. Let them make you out to be the villain. You might be the villain in their story, but you know what? They can be the clown in yours. It's not a big deal. Whatever it is that people want to say about you, let them. Kindly step aside and fucking let them. The hard truth is they know how much they're hurting you. And they simply just don't give a shit. They really don't care. They did all this stuff knowing it could cause you harm and knowing it could hurt you and knowing that they could lose you in whatever that relationship, situationship, friendship is. And they did it anyway. So people that love you and that care about you, they care about how they make you feel. Like the end, period. That's it. There will be people that would rather lose you than be honest about what they've done to you. So let them go. Let them. The lack of respect and their lack of respect for you, that's closure. The lack of apology for treating you like shit, that's closure. The lack of care that was used with you, that's closure. That's all the closure you need. How much more closure do you need? The lack of accountability, that's closure. The fact that they don't want to own up to their shit. The lack of honesty, that's closure. Let them go. Make the decision to no longer sit at tables where you might be the topic of conversation after you get up. Let them go. You can still be kind. Kindness can come in spades. You can still even love people deeply and from afar. But do it from that distance that they created in their words, in their actions. Do it with the distance that they created themselves, because access to you and your life is a privilege. And they've obviously proven that they can't be trusted with that privilege. So you're going to have to let them go and get rid of that toxicity. And boy, when you do, is it ever freeing and liberating? Because then you really feel seen. And then it moves out of it's like, boom, bitch, get out the way. It moves all the people out of the way that were blocking out the sunshine and, they were clouding around, for your sunshine to shine through for other people. And then, your vibe attracts the people that you hang out with. You know what I mean? What you put out is what you kind of get back, I think. So let them. I think it's important to let people kind of just do that. That's right. Let them. They chose wrong. They chose to be unkind. They signed their own death certificate, not you. So you do you, boo. You do you. Let them do whatever they want. You like what you like. You be what you be. I don't want to be like in your fucking jogging group. I don't want to wear matching fucking outfits in your mom club. I don't want to get drunk at my kids' birthday parties. Like to me, that's fucking dysfunctional. If sitting around and bitching about your husbands and bitching about your kids is like your thing, guess what? That's a fucking hard fucking pass for me. Like, I don't want to sit around and bitch about people. Again, I will tell you this, and I've said it before. Willie Nelson's freaking his fucking ass out right now. Probably someone in my neighborhood just taking their dog for a walk, just being normal. And they can't because Willie Nelson sits at the window at the alcove and waits. He waits to bark at you. And usually he waits till I record my podcast because he loves to bark when I'm talking to you. When I'm talking to you all. Like, again, this is why I remind, like, the Karen vanilla bitch moms, like, why I don't want a husband and why Rob will be my partner and I will refer to him as such until the end of time, because I see how much they respect their husbands and how they talk about them, and I don't want any part of it. Like I say, like, they sit around, they talk like smack big time. If you have an issue with your significant other and your partner, why not go to them? Like, not talk shit about them to other people. I don't think that's healthy, in my very humble opinion. I don't think it's super healthy to go spreading your dirty laundry. Like, you know, confiding in a friend saying, you know, we're having problems, this is going on. But like smack talking your partner and then getting into that like wolf pack mentality where everybody just starts smack talking. And I've seen women do it, and women are like, honestly, like, cisgendered women are fucking worse than anyone else. Cisgendered, heterosexual women with husbands at home. Usually white women. Worst for just sitting around and husband bitching. Husband like bashing. It's terrible, the man bashing that goes on. And I don't like that. So like I say, I have a partner because I want a team. I'm good. I don't want to be on team me, the team that bitches about my partner all the time. And if I have to go, I swear to God, to another 6-year-old's birthday party where their moms and the dads and the grandparents or whoever's there are pounding Merlot at fucking 11 a.m., like, fucking not cool, man. Not my jam. I've gone to a lot of parties, like, you know, where there's been lots of like family and stuff and the kids there, and there's been not drinking, you know, and not getting crazy at 11 o'clock in the morning. Kids are young. But I've been to a few birthday parties, like I say, this year where, you know, it's wine o'clock. It's like 5 o'clock somewhere, and these chicks are already like at it. They're in the bottle. Like, how the fuck are wine o'clock moms still a thing? I thought that was like mom shamed out of like Facebook land a long time ago. I don't know. We have like, I feel like, have we corrected our language so much and just like started using other terms? People get mad about, you know, using pronouns and saying, oh, I don't want to use a pronoun. I don't want to say like pronouns. That's wrong. That's teaching people bad things. What about the pronoun we use for wine o'clock moms? Can't we just use the word that they really are and call them fucking alcoholics? Because, you know, I don't want to, you know, identify them as wine o'clock moms. Let's just call a spade and say that they're drunks and they have an addiction problem. And honestly, it's sad. It's depression. It's boredom. It's postpartum mood disorder. It's postpartum depression. It's a lot of undiagnosed things. It's loneliness. Sometimes it's companionship for people because people kind of drink in packs. And maybe, you know, maybe I would have said this, and I wouldn't say this if I was like 5 years sober from like alcohol under my belt. But I'm also like 15 years sober from opiates under my belt. You have to realize that after I got in a car accident, the doctors, like, what they used to do is, back then, Purdue Pharmaceutical, and like I say, I'll talk about later, why drugs got pushed and why we have such an opioid crisis in our world is because Sacklers lie, people die. They're the people that brought you Percocets and OxyContin and these safe drugs that they were giving you for pain the doctors would prescribe and didn't know how addicting these were to their patients. So I've been clean from opiates for 15 years too. So when I talk about being clean off of things, and I mean, I smoke a little bit of the Chiba, but honestly, kids and getting wasted don't fucking mix. Like, who drives? Who's the responsible adult? There are so many variables that could happen when you're just like drunk all fucking day and drunk all night. Like, it's just all people do. I feel like everybody's just like living for the weekend. There's these weekend warriors and it's weird. And then who has time for like a 3-day hangover, like at our age? Like, we went trick-or-treating this year and there were a few parents that were like loaded, like while we were trick-or-treating, and they had like to-go cups with booze in them and everything like that. It was like a Halloween fucking booze cruise. When I was a kid, that kind of shit didn't happen. Never in my fucking life. Maybe a cigarette someone's parents having here and there. But I don't even smoke around my kids. I'm a secret smoker. If you can't hide your smoking from your kids, like seriously, you need to like level up your fucking ninja skills, homie, because I am major, major, like secret ninja smoker from the kids. And they don't know. They don't smell it on me. They don't see it. They don't get it on me. Like I say, I change my clothes. I wash my hands. It's like Leslie Mann's character and This Is 40, like with the gloves on and like the hairnet, like smoking out the window sort of thing, except I never do it in the house. Oh my God. Terrible. So if you smoke, if you toke, don't get caught. And if you booze, you lose, man. I'm telling you, you lose days, you lose experiences. I'm not hating on alcohol. I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. And you realize, though, how many friends you actually lose when you stop drinking. All of a sudden, the fun bobbies of your life disappear. There's all kinds of people that are really fun when they're sober, but they just think they're only fun when they're loaded and they're drunk, and they think that's the only time they can have a good time. And there are a few people, though, that are like such downers that when they're sober, that the only time that they're fun is when they're drunk. But those are not the people that I want to be around. I don't like the fun bobbies of the world. I'll take you however you are. I'll take you sober. Just be yourself. So I mean, like, honestly, can we just say the same thing about dads and moms and parents and caregivers that consume cannabis? Can we say that it's the same? Is it always 420 somewhere for the parents that consume, and like myself included? I'm going to say no. Hard no, because cannabis users, I find, tend to be a little bit more discreet about use, respectful, not secretive, but they know the time and the place. And getting fucking blottoed around your kids is not a place to fucking do it. Fuck no. No. And of the parents and the moms and dads I know that use cannabis, it's probably like 80% of people that I know use it. They just don't talk about it. Everybody uses it, nobody talks about it. Everybody grows it, nobody talks about it. And I know people from all like kind of areas of life and all backgrounds and cultures and genders and sexualities. And I'll tell you, the only other folks that like use it and do it a lot, they're not preachy about it. They don't shove it down your throat. They're not like, hey, you should have a bit of this or a bit of that. Come on, why aren't you drinking? Or why aren't you smoking? You know what I mean? No one really asks you, why aren't you smoking a joint? People ask me all the time, like, why won't you just have a glass of wine? Well, one won't hurt you. I'm like, no, it will hurt me. I don't want to drink. I've never met a pushy pothead, to my life. Dude, like, I had to have a 20-year-old kid teach me how to dab. And I'm not talking about, like, the dance. I'm talking about dabbing. I had to learn because I'm old as fuck, man. It's like Jurassic Pork around here. Like, seriously, I don't know how to do all these hip things and concentrates and all that stuff. Listening to people my age tell me how fucking drunk and fucked up they got this weekend, like, honestly fucking depresses me. Because it's like how we spend our time is so important, because we're never going to know when we're not here or when we are here. Like, we're not going to know. Like, once we're dead, we're probably not going to be very conscious of it. It's like, what happens after you die? Well, fucking a lot of shit happens after you die. You're just not around to experience any of it. So that's, food for thought. How we spend our days is how we spend our lives. And there are so many things that I do with the moms that, like, that other moms like to do, that I like to do, that I can totally get down with. Like, for instance, going to flea markets, thrifting, school trips, going out for a coffee, having a soap class, doing a soap class, going out dancing, getting a piercing, a massage, axe throwing, getting a tattoo, boxing, jamming, having bonfires, and finally going to concerts. I love going to concerts, and this is one thing I've definitely made new friends and I think music really unites people and brings together. And this is how some of my mom friends and I like get along. We'll go to a concert together because everybody likes music. And I told y'all that myself and one of my awesome pals are going to a concert, and I scored some really cool tickets. I'm really looking forward to a particular show, and that my friend is looking forward to this concert too, because we're both moms and we want to let our hair, down and go out for the night and just headbang and just, I told her that we're going to punch our way to the fucking front. And she just looked at me like, fuck, Tanya, oh my gosh. But it's Evanescence and Hailstorm and The Warning, which is going to be an amazing show because they're all like female-fronted bands whom I love. And they're all really like high energy bands, which I like. So this little fucker, me, bought me and my pal. I was like, just put me in charge of the tickets. So I got general admission, like floor tickets. So we're going to dance our little asses off. We're going to punch our way to the front. Oh yeah, I'm going to kiss Amy Lee right on the lips. I'm just kidding. Amy Lee, I'm coming for you. No, I'm kidding. But I'm just going to be, I'm going to be like, Bring Me Back to Life. I'm going to be singing it like right up there, like right. They're going to have to fucking pull me out of the crowd because I'm going to pass out and get crazy. But no, it's fun. I'm really excited to go and get my dance on. And anyone who's been in a pit with me knows how I get. So when I get into the mosh pit, it's like Suburban Mom doesn't live here anymore. Only Mosh Pit Mom lives here. And then it's like Punchy Penguins out in full force. And I'm crowd surfing. It's like, let's fucking go. I can't bring my glasses. Like I have to bring my glasses so I can see, but I've got to put them in my little like glasses protective case inside my like fanny pack that I don't actually wear around my fanny. I wear it as like a satchel. But I don't have any arrows in it or anything. It looks like a quiver for arrows, but I wear it on the front with the blunt. But like I say, I was in fucking a metal band, so I think that we're going to be okay. I've taken some pretty fucking rough hits from some pretty rough crowds, and I've seen some of the most violent, insane fucking mosh pits ever. Like the most bloodiest pits ever. And I don't think that this is honestly going to be one of them. I really don't. One, we're Canadians. Of course we won't punch each other, but it'll be all pats on the back and helping each other up. And that's what it's all about, you know. There's no doubt about it. Number two, people will be passing the Chiba because it's legal again, because we're Canadian. Of course we're going to smoke weed. That brings down the violence and just lets people really enjoy the music, and you can hear it better and it sounds better, and if you got a snack in your pocket, it probably tastes better. Good for an old edible or maybe a little microdose of some mushrooms if you're into that kind of thing. Another thing definitely that's frowned upon by vanilla bitches, and when I say vanilla bitches, that doesn't mean just like white suburban moms that are judgy. That means like every color of the rainbow suburban parents that are super judgy. This is not just white ladies, but I will call you all vanilla bitches, because mushrooms and microdosing, they're so afraid of it. It's a plant. It's a plant. And like, I'm like, if they just watch a documentary, from National Geographic about people that have been suffering from depression or, having to reset their brain, or microdosing for cluster headaches and severe pain and trauma and things like that, and how drugs like this, like natural drugs, have been demonized by things like, the Reagan administration and his drug-free America. That's why people don't think you can reset your brain with these kind of drugs. They think resetting your brain is some kind of like MK Ultra, which I will get to later, CIA mind-altering experiment thing. They think mushrooms are something that they aren't. I'm not endorsing doing them, but I'm saying the only reason people and things like weed and mushrooms and stuff like that get a bad rap, because good old Ronnie Reagan, when he was elected for his drug-free America and let's make America fucking great again and shit, him and Nancy Reagan demonized street drugs so much, but then they gave high praise to doctor-prescribed drugs, which therefore started the opioid crisis. And then Sacklers lie and people die. Doctors started prescribing oodles and oodles of all kinds of medications. But I mean, doctors have been prescribing medications since the 1800s. I mean, cocaine, all kinds of different things for, snuff, all kinds of things that you can take to calm you down. One of the most commonly prescribed drugs still to this day is to women, mostly housewives, is diazepam, Valium. At one point, I saw this doctor, this is before I had kids, and I was misdiagnosed with depression and not postpartum, but bipolar, like being bipolar depressed, and anxiety, totally misdiagnosed. It was just like being a bored housewife. He had me on such a high dose of Valium. I just didn't feel anymore. I just turned off my feelings. I just stopped feeling. I had no emotions. It was absolutely like terrible. It was scary. And then when I had gone to like a follow-up doctor and they're like, how much Valium are you on? I told them, they're like, I don't know how you're awake half the time. I'm like, I can't calm down. At this time, of course, they didn't know that I had autism and ADHD and stuff like that. They're just like, oh, you have depression, you know, and you're anxious. So calm down. Also, you're a woman, so you're kind of a, you know, they'd use that ableist word and say, you know, you're kind of a spaz, you know. They'd be very openly ableist. And like I say, they brought the apathy up, brought the nerves down, but it brought the apathy up. So I just didn't care anymore about anything. And I think that it's really dangerous to prescribe people medications like that and to turn off their feelings, because feeling is what we want to do. We want to move through emotions because that's what's healthy for us. It's healthy to feel our emotions. We don't want to turn those things off. We're going to turn into fucking robots. Seriously, I think the people who, you know, would rather take a Percocet or stuff like that, that's kind of scary. I think pot's just a flower and hallucinogenic mushrooms are just mushrooms. I think people really look at it as like a dirty hippie thing. I think it's time to pull the stick out of your asses. It's 2024. Pull the stick out your ass and maybe collectively smoke a joint, please. I'm begging at this point. It's terrible. But like, yeah, like we still take mother's helpers in the 1950s. Housewife cocktail is still a thing. Doctors still prescribe it 150%. Sometimes you need a little bit of mother's helper to get things going. And the cocktail, like I say, is real. Some doctors prescribe it in different modalities and there are different combinations, but it's still being prescribed and it's still widely out there because doctors want to silence their patients, especially their female patients. They want to shut them up and make them feel like they're crazy. And they just need, you know, a break from their kids. Like in that movie, Everything's Okay, Darling, or Darling, Everything Will Be Okay. What the hell is it called? I saw a movie with Harry Styles. And I think it's called Everything's Fine, Darling. No, it's called Don't Worry, Darling. I was going to say Don't Worry, Baby, but that's a Beach Boys song. It's called Don't Worry, Darling. And it's a film from 2022. I caught it a couple weeks back. It's got Harry Styles in it. It was actually directed by Olivia Wilde. She's in it too. It's kind of like Stepford Wives meets Mad Men. It's about this young couple living in the 1950s in this town that was built for them by a company that the husband works for. It's called the town of like Victory. And it's about the housewives, like, you know, days of debauchery and drinking and all the kinds of things that are going on in suburbia and, you know, what's really lurking in suburbia in this nice town where everybody thinks, you know, everything's just hunky-dory. What's really hiding under the surface? So much Valium, number one. Jesus, barbiturates out the ass like crazy. This is I don't know. This I think is why the tortured poets department hits so hard for me as a woman of my age, because it's almost like a poke and a joke at domesticity and domestic life. It's almost kind of like a younger answer to Lana Del Rey's Chemtrails Over the Country Club. I like that album a lot too. Even though Lana Del Rey is kind of a fucking bootlicker, I will say that, but it really exposes all the fakes and all the phonies. Like she kind of says, like, you know, all my friends either smell like babies or weed or whatever she says. And I think that's true. And speaking of smoking a joint, I don't care, honestly, if Taylor Swift smokes weed or if she microdoses on shrooms. I honestly don't give a shit, or if she does edibles or whatever the fuck she does. I saw her get ripped on for some of the lyrical content on her album, and it made me just shake my fucking head because have people not realize that she's 34 years old? Like, she's turned 34. She's a grown ass woman. Like, people know she's 34, right? It's strange whom we choose to infantilize and whom we don't, because that's a choice. That's absolutely a choice. Generally, it's like female identified folks like child stars and stuff, and where are they now? And now that I've listened to like the Tortured Poets Department, like probably front to back like 50 times, I listened to it the moment it came out. I still think Taylor Swift is a sensation. This album, she's definitely gone like dark, and she's grown. And if other grown-ups can't see that, I think there's kind of something sick there, I think. And speaking of kind of sick, I told you I had a story of something very illegal hiding in the suburbs I found at 16. 16 years old, driving home. The person who was supposed to drive me home was my friend's mom, and she had a few too many like Bacardi Breezers and got a little bit too drunk, and she was too drunk to drive. So she was like, Tanya, can you and your friend, who was like male at the time, my best friend was, my high school best friend was this dude. And she was like, okay, you guys are going to get in the car. So 2, learner's permits equal a real driver's license. And I'll be in the car with you so you can drive yourself home. And then he'll drive me home. Everything's cool. So we're going to get driving home. And we'd always be like horsing around at this house. Like his dad always had like gun holsters, and he'd always be spinning guns around and shooting beers, like cans off the fence and stuff like that. So we get to my house, and finally I open the glove compartment to get something out, and oh my God, I pop open the glove compartment and there's a loaded Colt 45 in there. And I'm just like, I drove all the way, like it was like a 15-minute drive to my house, and I had driven all that way like in the dark with a loaded gun in the glove compartment in a Firebird. Like with my friend's mom in the back, drunk as a skunk, and my friend and I in the front, and me driving, and then he had to drive home. Drunk ass home with the, like, and they were just like farm kids, you know what I mean? Because we'd shoot beer bottles off the fence, and I think someone must have just forgotten about it. It's terrible, but like we hung out at his house. His parents were amazing. Like they were so nice and let us do crazy stuff. And then there was this other kid down the street, and his parents were loaded, and we'd go over to their house and they'd have these like extravagant parties where the adults would party with the kids, you know what I mean? The pool was going, the hot tub was kicking, there'd be bowls of like nugs of marijuana. There would be bowls of cocaine. It was like a help yourself situation and scenario. Big open bar, rich parents would rather be, friends with their kids before they were parents to their kids. So that was, fuck up, really fucked up. And we'd go over, it was one of the richest hoods in my city too, and definitely one of the richest families that lived there. They owned a lot of things around town, and this was my teenage BFF, and we were like completely like platonic. He was like a brother to me. We rode horses together, we'd cruise around in his Firebird, we'd smoke cigars, we'd smoke weed, I'd pick up chicks for him, like I'd help him pick up girls. I haven't changed much, like at all. I'm still the same kind of with my guy friends. He's in jail, unfortunately. Yikes. He made some... poor bastard. He made some poor decisions. Nice kid, but he made some bad fucking decisions. And, we talked about making bad decisions and things like that. And then I talked about playing with things as a kid that were maybe a bad decision at the time because I didn't know that they weren't toys and we weren't supposed to play with them. But they were things that adults let us play with. Adults who are supposed to be responsible for us. So my uncle, my wacky uncle, this is my mom's brother, and he's fun. He's really fun. He's like my Ted Nugent hunting uncle. He has a death room in his house where he makes his own bullets, and he has all his taxidermy animals. It's scary as fucking hell. I never want to go down there. But goddamn, he's funny. He's funny. He's a funny guy. He wouldn't hurt you. He might shoot a duck or a deer, but he wouldn't hurt a person. He's a silly guy. So when we were kids, he would take all his hunting decoys of ducks and he'd put them out on the pool. And we just thought as kids we were swimming with all of these ducks, and we thought it was like the best thing ever. It was like the biggest bubble bath with all the rubber duckies. And they looked real. But they were hunting decoys, for fuck's sakes, and we were swimming around with them. And it just ain't right. But it's funny. He probably got like the biggest kick out of it. And as kids, we got the biggest kick out of it. Thought it was fun. Didn't hurt anybody. But like, did you ever play with anything as a kid that like wasn't intended to be a toy, but you kind of like made it one? That was ours. It was hunting decoys, wild turkeys, ducks, deer, anything. Like even like playing with like the blinds and stuff and like hiding out in them like they were like fucking forts. We were weird kids. Now, like I say, now that we're free from doing all that stuff, I got some of my freedom back as well. Because some of my freedom had been taken away from me. I lost my driver's license, and now that I've been back on the road for a few months, because I've been back on the road, because I've been on the road a lot, literally, I feel like I'm on tour with the grooming company and stuff like that. I've been traveling so much for work between meetings, wholesale stuff, and then also doing markets and doing in-person stuff. I've been back on the road, like you say, for a few months. It's a relief. It's a huge relief. But it's also a huge privilege because I realize very hard, and this hits hard, and I got to check your privilege because it's a privilege to drive. It's not a right. And it's good for me to check my mental health because like not driving was destroying my mental health. And when your maternal self-care isn't good, your care for your kids isn't good. Sometimes, like I say, I go for a drive. Sometimes you just go for a drive and I go walk somewhere where I can just be calm. Or sometimes I go for a drive just to listen to tunes and be quiet. Sometimes I gotta go shake my ass and dance. You know what I mean? With my girlfriends. Sometimes I gotta beat up the punching bag. Sometimes I feel like throwing an axe, so I go and do that. Sometimes, I just want to be quiet. When you take care of you, and mentally well parents are the people that are raising mentally well kids. You know what I mean? If you're taking care of yourself mentally, you're going to be able to take care of your kids. If you're taking care of your sleep hygiene, your mental hygiene, your emotional hygiene, things other than just like your personal hygiene and exercising and doing the things that we always think of doing, with the things that you don't think of doing, that you're not doing, that are affecting you, and you're affecting your ability to, take care of your youngins and even take care of yourself. Because like, let's face it, you got to take care of you first and everybody else after that. Because honestly, this year, I only realized that taking care of yourself equals helping take care of other people. I only realized that this year. Rob said to me, and he said to me a couple times, actually, he says this to me all the time. He'll say, oh, you wouldn't have said that a year ago. You never would have done that a year ago. You never would have said this a year ago. I'm so proud of you for taking care of yourself. Oh, a year ago, you never would have done this. I get that so often from him because I was one of those moms that suffered really bad postpartum depression with both kids. And then I had bad postpartum mood disorder to kind of follow up, which is like more depression. Maternal health is really, really, really important. They don't give you a lot of education about it in the hospital. It really fouled my brain up, and I'm fortunate I recognized it and I got help, mostly from my parents. I'll say, like with my firstborn, when I went back to work, he was predominantly raised by my mom and my dad and my sister, because my first husband was pretty much mostly uninvolved with my son. And then when he was 2, like Rob, like my partner now, came along, and then my daughter came along in like 2 seconds. Like I say, bio dad wasn't really there. He was just really absent and kind of uninterested in being a dad. He was just more like, babies are kind of like a doll, and they're really fun and they're really cute, and then when you're done and you're bored and you're tired, you can just like put them back. But I'm like, you can't put them back. They still have needs, and they still have anxieties and tensions and fears, and the same thing adults have through the days and nights. Babies have them too, just on a different level, on a different scale. And, people don't realize that. And then when my son was 2, my current partner came along, and he's been, a staple and a constant in his life, a constant, somebody who dips in and out and stuff like that. He stepped up where somebody else, someone else stepped off. Even with my second, I'll say I had an excellent birth partner and I had excellent support, but I still ended up with the baby blues. And what do they do to you? The same thing they've been doing for years. They just give you a mother's helper. They give you an antidepressant. They give you some Xanax, some Halcyon, maybe some barbiturates, mild antidepressants, maybe some tricyclics, some of those drugs, anything to kind of make you happy, anything to make you not feel. My approach was to talk about it, talk therapy, because my approach was mindfulness. I found out that if I could feel my emotions in a safe place, and in a safe space where I felt okay to do so, then I could express them freely without fear of having any judgment and having to shrink myself to be in any situation. But, mom guilt and judgment are real, and that's the real shit. And that's why we get into these situations. We get the depression and stuff. Like, birthing stories of both my kids are wild. My first child, my partner was not even in the fucking OR. Just as they were sewing me up, he cruised in because he was cheating on me, and watched me having a blood transfusion while like they took my child to make sure that he was okay because he was a C-section, baby, and it was an emergency situation. And all my like first husband said to me afterwards, "Oh, it was cool to see your guts on the floor while they sewed you up." I'm like, "Thanks, because you were out putting the nuts to somebody else while I was having a baby." And then with my second baby, when I had my daughter, first, all the nurse said was like meconium. I'm like, of course she took a poop inside me. She shat in me. Everything was fine. I pushed her out in like literally, I sneezed. She was out in like 24 minutes. Rob was such a good birthing partner. He was there by my side the whole time. Like he was like stroking my face, like giving me ice chips, making sure I was okay, rubbing my arm, being really supportive. My first like birth experience was not like that, like I say. But it was 2 hospital stays, 5-6 days a piece each, because I got high blood pressure and like major problems. Like the first one was a C-section, so I had to stay in because that's major abdominal surgery. 6 days in the hospital, in a ward room with Mennonites, and they kept having every member of their motherfucking family come in. And I'll tell you, the Lower Dutch community, there's like 15 fucking kids. And they're all coming in and out of the room at all hours of the night. And I'm just trying to get some sleep with my baby because they let you keep your baby in your room now. The next one I had, when I had my daughter, I ended up with eclampsia, super fucking high blood pressure after I had her. They were afraid I was going to have a stroke, so they put me on some high blood pressure medication, and I was in this room, and my roommate was fucking tore up from the floor up. She kept talking to her kid and putting on Paw Patrol for this newborn baby. In the middle of the night, I'd be sleeping, and be like, tss, 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 brrr, Paw Patrol, Paw Patrol. I'm like, fuck, what the fuck? She'd buzz the nurse, like not when she needed like medication or help. She'd be like, "I spilled my coffee. Can you come help me?" Like, it's like, did you put Bailey's in your coffee? I think you did. It was ridiculous. So that was making my blood pressure get crazier and crazier. It was driving me up and I was just getting more and more upset. So after about 8 hours of that, Rob just like left for a minute, and I'm just like, where did he go? And I've got the baby, I'm nursing, whatever. Like 8 nurses come fucking charging into my room, and they pass the curtain because there's another lady on the other side, and they're like, I'm like, what's going on? They're like, moving day. Rob saw how stressed out I was with this woman doing whatever she was doing all hours of the night, and I'm trying to heal from a pretty traumatic birthing experience, like a second one, and my blood pressure's high, and so they stuck me in a private room for my own health and for the health of the baby, because this woman just did not have it together. I think there was something going on there. I think she was actually detoxing off of drugs and some pretty hard stuff. And she was not tolerating it well. And the poor baby, like honestly, terrible, terrible. So, like I say, first and second stays in the hospital were both nightmares. So now you know the kinds of moms, and I've told you the kinds of moms that I just like don't jive with, I don't get with, I don't hang out with. But who are some of my favorite moms? Well, since I've been doing a huge Stranger Things rewatch in the last little while, I love Joyce Byers. I love Joyce Byers, Winona Ryder's character, the character she plays, because she's a don't quit mom. Like, I'm going to find my kid no matter what fucking happens. I also love me some Karen Wheeler. She's looking at the young boys, and she's turning into a cougar in the 3rd and 4th season. I love it. I love it because it's funny. She's got one of those like husbands that the vanilla bitches would, complain about. He sleeps down in a chair, falls asleep. He's boring. He's older. He acts older. He's being an old, patoot, He's a horse's ass. The things that I hear about people's husbands. Who are other moms that I love? I love Yoko Ono. I love Nancy Wilson of Heart and her twins. Jennifer Garner. I love what a great and supportive mom she is. I love Ronnie Spector of the Ronettes. All the moms pulling double duty, working 9 to 5, working 5 to 9, working 80-hour shifts, fucking at the hospital, and coming home and sleeping for 6 hours and going back again for another fucking 80 hours. The single moms working 3 fucking jobs with a smile on their faces just so their kids don't see them cry, just to keep it together. The moms like me, creating jobs because they want to be at home with their kids and they don't want to work for the man. They want to stick it to the man and be the man. Fuck the man. I'm the man. It's not a 1950s thing anymore We're parenting in the ways that work for us personally. And all of it is okay. And I'm here for all of it. And all of it's acceptable. It's what works for you. You know what I mean? You gotta, like I say, it takes a village. It really does take a village. And we're all going to be okay. I think that we're all going to be okay, you know, unless I get arrested protesting the government in a few weeks. If I disappear, it's because I don't want to see our healthcare system get privatized and go into the toilet. I would rather use my OHIP card than my fucking credit card when I go to the doctor's office. I don't know about you. I don't want to see our healthcare system or our education systems privatized. I think that it's fucked. I think our government's trying to fuck us over. I think our collective voices are much louder than our governments. I think that there's a lot to be said for the power of and the power to the people. Speaking of people like Yoko Ono and things like that. People will always be stronger. Like, it takes a village to raise a family, right? Well, it takes a lot of people. It takes a village and a community to change things for the better. You want to change things that you don't like, then be the change that you want to see. Demonstrate the change that you want to see. If you don't like it, fucking change it. Don't be so divisive. Get together and change it. Stop hating each other. Ignore what the government's trying to do. Ignore all that kerfluffle. Ignore all that fluff and all the marshmallows. Look through the fucking bullshit. Look at your neighbor. Look to the left of you. Look to the right of you. Look who's beside you. Put your arms out. You know, this is what my kids' teachers would say. All that matters are the people that are beside you. And the people that are beside you are everyone that we have to live beside in the world. Like I say. And I say this all the fucking time. We're all neighbors in one way or another, and we all have to live beside each other. So stop focusing on fucking differences. Find a commonality. I don't care how small it is. Find anything. And just say, me too, dude. Like, me too. Like, that's the sign for, like, me too. Find a commonality. Look, you know what happened? You just made a pal. You just made a friend. Shake hands. And where's your hand? Your hand is in a new friend's hand. You just made a friend. Look at you. You're learning. So, peace, love, understanding. Like one of my favorite folks on the planet always says, when they're signing off from their socials, they always say peace, love, and understanding. And I love it. It's something that Elvis Costello says too. It's one of my favorite artists. But, you know, this is just one of my favorite humans. Always. Peace, love, and understanding. I think that's super important. I'll leave you with my socials. You know where to get me on YouTube. You can always get me at Tanya Candler channel if you subscribe to that. 21st Century Rocker Mom plays on all your favorite streaming platforms for free. You can go get it and check it out wherever you stream. It's every second Monday usually coming down the pipe for you. Sometimes it's on other days, but, you know, I usually let you go. On Instagram, you can always catch me at 21st Century Rocker Mom. You can find me if you want to do something with your hair or anywhere and you want to feel better about your body. You can find me at The Rockaholic Grooming Company. Other than that, I'm back on X, on Twitter, at I think it's just The Tanya Candler or The Real Tanya Candler, some bullshit like that. I'll put it in there. I'm on Threads. You can always find me ticking and talking, not as much on TikTok because I always feel kind of old on that platform. You can find me at 21st Century Rocker Mom on TikTok. Also, next episode, I'm giving you an insight. We're going back to the creep show and some creepy conspiracy theories. I'm going back to my roots and all the crazy stuff that started this podcast in the beginning. We're going to be talking about mind control. We're going to be talking about MK Ultra. We're going to be talking about soldiers being trained to shoot with no feelings, not knowing what they're doing. The assassination of John Lennon. And was he a political threat to America as far as the CIA goes? Was he being followed? What really happened to John Lennon? Let's talk about it all next time on another episode of 21st Century Rocker Mom Podcast with me, your host, Tanya Candler. I will see you guys on the flip-flop. I will catch you in the upside down. I'll be running up that hill next time. Be good. Peace, love, understanding.